and I ran my first 5K with them. And then the coach asked, hey, are you going to go ahead and sign up for that 10K? And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's double the distance. I don't know if I can do it. But I did because my friends were going to sign up for it. Ran a 10K. And then after that, I was like, hey, are you going to sign up for the half marathon? Oh my goodness, that's double the distance. I don't know if I can do it. But my friend signed up for it, so I did it too. Then, are you going to sign up for the LA marathon? Oh my goodness, that's double the distance. My friends, and again, I keep going about the community and friendships, right? Because they motivate you. And so I signed up to run the LA marathon. That changed my life.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast. Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you're from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome.
All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode. Thank you for tuning in. For you, it's been a week. For us, it's been maybe several weeks, maybe even 2 months. We sort of bank our shows here, take a break, come back and do a other bank of shows. But we're glad you're spending this time with us. We appreciate that. If you like this kind of content, we bring you the people and stories from right here in the San Gabriel Valley. So if you like that, please consider subscribing. Scott, like I said, it's been a while that we've been in the studio and doing the show, but for the listener, maybe it's just a week, right? So,
right.
And we always talk about how we're going to introduce the show. What is the connection here? And friendships came up, and the idea of what those look like, because they're very different, right? Like friends as a toddler, as an adolescent, as a teenager, even 20s, 30s changes maybe. And I'm not in my 50s yet, but I can see for some people they also change and maybe grow. Maybe there's loss in the later years. But how have you experienced friends and friendship over the years?
Yeah, it's a good question. I can think of a core group of maybe 3 or 4 that have been my friends for some of them since high school or right after high school, but mostly developed at an early age, and they've just continued to be my core. And then I'm shy about developing new friendships. I think sometimes as you're in business, you tend to wonder how authentic the friendships are. Are they just acquaintances that want something? Oh, I hate to put it that negatively, but you have tried and true friends. And I think you're lucky to make friends late in life. That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't know what your experience is.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't label you as someone who's actively seeking out new friendships. And for myself, I treasure the friendships that I have. And I would say like a lot of them have fallen off because I want to focus my time elsewhere, mostly with family. And so friendships get neglected in that sense. And I don't know that I'm actively seeking new friends, because it's time. Saying yes to them is a lot of time. But I just came across a stat yesterday. Was it a stat? No, it was a video by Simon Sinek, and he was saying that people observe successful people and they think that they're doing it all themselves and it's their own work, drive, and it's how hard that they're working. But behind most successful people is a support group of friends and relationships, and that you don't see that without having that. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting.
Oh, I really believe that. It's really true. The successful person has to have this network behind them, supporting them.
Sure. Well, we're going to get into our guest today, but before we do that, just a reminder, we've partnered with San Gabriel Valley Now, your source for city news, announcements, events, special savings, and everything SGV. Check them out on Instagram, sgv.now, and read their SGV Now magazine on their website, sgvnow.com. Well, all this talk about friendship, wonder what the audience is thinking our guest is or does. Let me introduce our guest. Her name is Martha Gamboa, and she is the founder of Frendii, Frendii, which is a community platform. Martha, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Russell. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, Martha, you are one of a handful of people who have found us on Instagram and reached out to us. How did you first come across the show?
It must be someone whom I follow that follows you. And because it comes up in my feed and it says, this is someone who you may be interested in following. And so I looked it up and I came across your content and I reached out.
So what is Frendii? I know I said it's a community platform, but explain to our audience what that is.
Be happy to. Frendii is a community platform for women over 50. And we are creating a safe space for women to come together, women who are looking to connect with new friends because, as life unfolds, we mature, we go from work to retirement, we move into a new area, or perhaps our significant other dies. There's various reasons that all of a sudden our social network changes. And all of a sudden, we may not have that group of friends to go out to dinner with or to go out for a walk or see a movie. That is actually now a big problem in our society. Matter of fact, the U.S. Surgeon General months ago said social isolation, the lack of spending time with friends or, face-to-face connecting is affecting, it is actually an epidemic in our society. So Frendii focuses on creating a safe space for women over 50, for those women who are looking to connect with other women, to go out to dinner or breakfast. And so we curate social events throughout the community to do that.
You didn't use the term friend, though, in terms of the members or the participants in your forum. What is a friend to you?
For me, a friend is someone who knows you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and still wants to spend time with you. It takes time to develop a friend, a true friendship. And it's a very good observation, that you made here, because Frendii is about organizing regular events, weekly events. And what happens when you spend time together with someone on a regular basis, you bond, you build trust, and out of that, friendships may come out. So Frendii is allowing women to connect on a regular basis for social events, and they are making friends. But it does take time. It does take, someone really has to get to know you. It's not easy for us to develop a friendship overnight. We have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and it's not easy to do that because we are afraid of judgment. What if this person doesn't like me anymore? Or what if they want to spend time with me? So for me, someone who's there for you, whom you can rely on, that's a friend.
Well, I'm glad the audience got an introduction into, what the show is about today. And I want to sort of go back and share with them what your connection to the San Gabriel Valley is.
I'm originally from Mexico, and my parents came here to the San Gabriel Valley, San Gabriel, specifically the city of San Gabriel. And we have lived in this area. Then we moved to El Monte, then Covina. My brothers and sisters are still in the area, various cities, but we're all local in the region. So it's the only home I've known since I came here. And so I have lived here, worked here. When I say work here, various areas, in Southern California, but home, where I live, is in the San Gabriel Valley.
So your parents came here, so you were born here?
No, I was born in Mexico.
Oh, I see. Okay, you came over here with your parents.
Yes.
I see. Okay. And so you're a long resident of the San Gabriel Valley.
Yes.
Okay. And can you share with our audience what was it like growing up in a very different time than now in the San Gabriel Valley for you?
It's all about the experience that you have. My parents have always been very. My mom has been a stay-at-home mother. My dad went out to work. Both very humble people. Just labor-intensive work that my dad did. But when they instill values in you, just be good to people, respect them, and work hard. And when you live in a community like El Monte, as long as you do that, and then people are going to go ahead and treat you that way. Because I grew up in an area that it was pretty violent at times. A lot of gang problems and just a lot of crime. But if you follow the advice that your parents instill in you, you can actually navigate that without getting into too much trouble. And so I really am grateful for the foundation that my parents, both my mom and dad, provided for us, because thankfully we were all able to move out of the initial neighborhood we grew up in El Monte, and we're all fine, but I know that a lot of friends who I grew up with, didn't have as good a fortune.
When you say we all, so you have siblings?
Yes,
How many?
I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I used to refer to ourselves as the Brady Bunch way back when, without Alice, of course.
Okay. So you had this healthy upbringing in El Monte with your parents. And where does life take you after, let's say, high school there?
Went to work, as a working family, there's a lot of Latino communities who can, or Latino people who can relate. We went out to work, my sisters, my brothers, and we went out to work to help out the family. And, going to school and going to work, attended, PCC, then went to Cal State Los Angeles, but at the same time working. And so as you go through life and the different experiences, whether it be work, you are kind of trying to find out what you want to do. I thought I wanted to pursue history, U.S. history, study history. Then I went into business administration. And ultimately, I ended, that took me to land a job with a big Fortune 500 company, Allstate. So I did financial sales. I started my career in corporate America in financial services, started as a sales agent, and just working in various roles with over a 20-year lifespan in financial services.
Can you go back? You made a statement about you all, your siblings, working to help the family. That mindset, is that something with the Mexican culture or your family specifically? Because a lot of families are like, now you're 18, you are working to support yourself and to help yourself to, I guess, separate. But you're saying that you guys all went out to sort of help the family. Is that a cultural thing, or is that your family?
I think it's a cultural thing. I know that in my family, they didn't say you need to go out and do this. We just noticed that, this is what we needed to do. So I know that a lot of families in the area where I grew up in, they're working families. So, the children like me end up doing that, go to work so that we can contribute financially at home.
Wow. So you when you're working, you also are making a contribution financially to the family.
Yes.
At home. Mm-hmm. Wow.
That continues all your life, or?
No.
Oh.
Of course, at a certain point in time, we move on and we build our own lives. But yes. But I think just looking out for family is always important to, at least to us. And it doesn't mean that you're there all the time, but you're always keeping your family top of mind if there's a need.
So you wanted to pursue history, and you're still trying to find out what it is that you want to do. And you landed a job at Allstate selling. Did you enjoy that?
Yes. It takes a lot of people skills, a lot of soft skills to work in a lot of fields, but specifically in sales, right? So yes, I enjoyed it because you get the opportunity to work with various types of personalities, and it really allows you the opportunity to grow as an individual. Not everyone's going to see things your way, and that's okay. So you allows you to build new skills too.
And then I'm sort of trying to get the picture, the lay of the land of how you came to develop this, or even desire to develop this community. So what are some of the things that shaped that, or sort of, planted that seed during this time?
Well, I was actually doing a health assessment, for as an employee of a big corporation. Many corporations do a health assessment, and they started doing this several years ago, where they wanted the employees to be more aware about their health. So, when you were going to elect your benefits, like your medical insurance and dental and all that, they called that period open enrollment. I had to do a health assessment. It was part of the open enrollment, and a bunch of questions. Do you smoke? Do you eat vegetables? Do you exercise? Do you have a lot of stress in your life? And at the end of those questions, you get some results. And it's either green, yellow, or red. My results after answering like 40 different questions were all red. And it said that I was predisposed to heart disease, high blood pressure, premature death, and all these great things, right? And it was because of my age, my ethnicity, and my gender, and of high stress at work. So I figured, okay, there's only a couple of things that are within my control. I can eat more greens, and I can start to exercise. So I joined a running program in the city of Monrovia. Matter of fact, I had just moved to Monrovia, and they were opening a shoe shop. And I reached out to them and realized and learned that they had a running academy. So I used to run in high school, and I had not run since. It been a long time since. So I joined that running group, and they would meet 3 days a week. So that was my experience with community and how community can really have a positive social impact, because you would meet 3 times a week and you train to run a race. This group was training to run a 5K, and I was afraid because I'm like, oh my God, what if I can't run? And but just meeting with a group of people who are there, again, they kind of keep you accountable and you kind of get to know them. You bond and you form friendships. It motivated me to be part of that group, and I ran my first 5K with them. And then the coach asked, hey, are you going to go ahead and sign up for that 10K? And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's double the distance. I don't know if I can do it. But I did because my friends were going to sign up for it. Ran a 10K. And then after that, I was like, hey, are you going to sign up for the half marathon? Oh my goodness, that's double the distance. I don't know if I can do it. But my friends signed up for it, so I did it too. Then, are you going to sign up for the LA Marathon? Oh my goodness, that's double the distance. My friends, and again, I keep going about the community and friendships, right? Because they motivate you. And so I signed up to run the LA Marathon. That changed my life. The fact that I was feeling better, I felt strong. I was just loved the way I was feeling. And I wanted to share that feeling with women specifically, because I started to read and I started to really pay attention to the conversation that was going on around the country about the fact that, we're not as healthy as we could be, the fact that we're not exercising as much as we could be. And as I started reading that, everywhere I listened and everywhere I looked, I was being focused on everything that had to do with health. And so I started to think about changing careers, and I wanted to go into health and fitness. And it took me 3 years to make that decision because, again, being an employee, and it has its perks, right? You get benefits and all that. So I started to do research, and is the fitness industry even growing? And I learned that women over 40 and baby boomers were investing in their health. And so I started to maybe I become a personal trainer or health coach and work with women over 40. I joined an educational program to become a personal trainer and a health coach. And 3 years after that, I made that decision. I left my job and I launched my personal training business to work with women over 40. It was 4 years into that career as a personal trainer that a woman asked me if I would walk with her or she would pay me. The doctor didn't clear her to exercise. She wanted to lose 30 pounds, but because of her medical history, she was not cleared to exercise. And not that we were going to do strenuous, exercise, but just said no. So she asked me if I could walk with her. It was this experience that inspired the idea for Frendii, because I was getting paid to walk an hour, 4 days a week for several months. And during this time, this gal, now, she was retired, divorced, empty nester. Her closest friend lived 45 minutes away. And here in Southern California, 45 minutes, it could be a long time because, traffic is not very easy. And I realized, again, I saw the regular social connection and the positive social impact, because she looked forward to the walks. She was smiling more. And then I'm thinking to myself, what about all the other women who may not have someone to show up every day and say, hey, let's go for a walk and talk. Tell me how your day was. So I started to read and research and realized that lack of frequent social connection, it's a real challenge for a lot of people. And I decided to think, what is it that I could do? There are solutions out there. There's other groups, other organizations that are provide that space or that ability for women to come together on a regular basis. But obviously, there is still a void. And I wanted to do something about it. So I set out to learn what is it that I could do, and also talk to women to see what are they looking for. What are some of the challenges that they have? Why, because you said earlier that for some people it's challenging to make new friends, or some people are shy. It's not easy. You really have to be willing to put yourself out there. I learned that there are a lot of women that we're still looking for something, for a solution, for a community that they could be part of. And so that's exactly what inspired Frendii.
So Frendii, you call it a community platform.
Yes.
What exactly does it do? What are its purposes and what are its functions?
Well, right now it is an app. And so we organize, and when I say we right now at this point in time, it's me. I organize regular, weekly curated events. For example, there's a breakfast the second Wednesday of every month. There's a dinner the last Friday of the month.
So you will actually meet?
Yes, in person. And
okay.
that's the goal, in-person, regular social connection. to create that community where women can actually make friends if that's exactly what they're looking for.
So where would you, do you meet at a regular place or every time it's different?
Right now, the San Gabriel Valley chapter, for the breakfast, we meet in Monrovia. Matter of fact, it's always the second Wednesday of the month, which is happening tomorrow at a restaurant in Monrovia. And it's always in a restaurant in Monrovia. So we're also supporting the local community. Dinners also happen to be in the area, but we also launch a chapter in the Long Beach and Huntington Beach area. So for women who live in that area, we have the breakfast and the dinners. But we go on hikes. Matter of fact, we're going to go on a gondola ride in Long Beach the 17th of this month. We went to the Sawdust Festival. So we do different activities, museum outings. And I'm always looking for feedback from the members. What is it that they would like to do? What I really enjoy learning from the members is that some of them are doing things that they've always wanted to do, but they didn't have someone to do them with.
How many people show up?
It depends. The meals are always the ones that are most attended, and it could be 10. It could be 5. It just and the women who are members, they pick and choose the activities that they want to go to. There's no requirement that you have to go to all of them. It is a membership-driven platform. So women do pay a fee to be part of the community. Yes.
Have you made friends yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I consider every single person as a woman, they're my friend, because you cannot help but be friends with someone that you see on a regular basis. You get to know their story. Because when you're curious about people, you really allow yourself to get to know someone, and you enrich yourself more by getting to know someone. And so, yes, absolutely, I do.
So I have 4 friends. How many do you have?
Oh, my goodness.
100?
No, I have a lot of acquaintances, but definitely, at least 40 good friends,
Really?
Yes. But, in 2000, Robert Ludlum, Putnam. Robert Ludlum wrote The Mattery Circle. He's the KGB author.
Yeah.
But Robert Putnam wrote a book called Bowling Alone. It's about, he was, even before online and digital media and all that, he was already making the observation that we were spending more time alone, eating, having less family dinners, spending less time with our friends because of careers, because of families. It's just various reasons. We were spending more time alone, and that's why the idea of that bowling alone. But he made an observation, or he did a study. He says that we can be happier if we have only 2 friends and we get a third one, we are happier. If we have 3 friends, we get a 4th one, we are happier. But there comes a point, if you're at 20 friends and you get another one, and you now have 21 friends, you're not going to be any happier. 20 is like the number that, you can be happy with 20 friends. Most people have 2 or 3 good friends. That's the average.
Well, yeah, being curious about people. I guess that comes very naturally in the beginning of a friendship, maybe even a start of a romantic relationship. And how do you remain curious about people in your life, friends?
If you accept the fact that part of, aging or growing older, we are changing, we're evolving, we're reading different things, so we are able to have different conversations. Then it's easy to be curious, and if you haven't seen a friend in let's say in a few months or in a couple of years for various reasons, what are you doing now? What are you reading now, right? What movies are you watching? What shows? If one gives themselves the opportunity to change and to learn new things, it can be easy to be curious about the people in your life. I think sometimes we do shortchange ourselves, because it's human nature. We tend to lean into what we know, what is familiar. And so by doing that, we may be shortchanging ourselves in really getting to, really enriching our own lives, our own experiences by really getting to know people who are different than us.
Well, Martha, we ask each guest to bring an item of significance with them. What did you bring with you today?
Today, I brought a small turtle. It says, be happy. And it used to be orange. I love the color orange, okay? But orange, according to a research, it's a happy color. It makes people feel warm and happy. Oh, yeah. And that's why the colors of Frendii are orange. But it says, be happy. Very simple words. And a dear friend who was, she started out as a client, a personal training client, but she became a dear friend. She gave it to me. she had no idea what I was thinking about, that the idea of Frendii was already a seed in my mind. But the idea of being happy, it sounds simple enough, but it's not. It is actually, you have to be an active participant in living a happy life. We cannot expect other people to make us happy. So finding out what that is, whether it's being grateful for where you are, or being grateful for the people in your life, or just finding reasons to be happy. But it is our own responsibility to be happy. To me, this is why I carry it all the time, because it is about taking ownership of your life and just making decisions, mindful, being intentional about achieving that life, if that's what you want. If you're seeking to have a happy life or be happy, have happy experiences, it starts by how we show up every day, whether it be at home, at work, in our community. That affects the outcome of the experiences we have with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that my wife and I have shared with each other that is different from every other relationship is saying out loud and believing that she is not responsible to make me happy, and I am not responsible to make her happy. In fact, you can't. Nobody can. You can do all the things, and the person may not be happy. So I'm relieved of that as a duty for her. Not that I don't enjoy that, or she doesn't enjoy it for me. We just are free of that belief that it's our job, And it's not. It's really not, just as you said. So, Martha, why have you chosen the specific age that you have for Frendii?
Oh, well, I'm that age group. So, but also because, my research showed that, we're all feeling socially isolated, right? But I can relate to the experiences that women in this age group are having or going through. And another big reason is because I really feel that as a group, as a demographic solution, it is really hard for us to find solutions like this. Everyone's building apps for, younger generations, dating apps and creative apps and all that, right? I felt that there was a gap, or there was a void in this particular space.
Are there some common issues that these women have experienced, life experiences that you in particular can relate to?
Well, everyone is different, and everyone is joining Frendii for their own personal reasons. But I have a partner, and she doesn't always enjoy going out, right? To like for example, I love sushi. She doesn't, so I'll have to call my nephew to go out and have sushi with me, right? But I have members who are have a significant other in their lives, and sometimes they're not emotionally available to go out there and enjoy going out and doing different things. So they join Frendii so they can spend some time with, say, the gals.
If you were planning a lunch, would you be happier with one friend or 5 friends joining you? Are you more one-on-one type, or do you like a group?
I am a hybrid person. I can navigate very easily and feel comfortable with a group of 5. And I also thoroughly enjoy a one-on-one lunch, because I enjoy that intimacy that spending time with someone allows, to just really talk about, serious issues or matters that are going on in our lives. And sometimes when you're in a group of 5, it's a little bit more, there's more levity, it's more casual and all that. But I thoroughly enjoy that. I don't know that I would say I prefer one less over the other, but I know that there are people, who prefer the one-on-one sharing, and that's fine. And so I guess it's important to know what type of person you are. Do you enjoy that one-on-one, or do you enjoy the group setting?
Are these outings organized around specific topics, events, or are they more sort of free-flowing? Like you just have a time and a place and you allow whatever happens to happen?
It's free-flowing. The goal is to have those events scheduled so that women come together, because sometimes it's with all the available streaming services that we have, it's easy to go ahead and get caught up and stream binge watch shows, which I have done many times, Netflix or Hulu, whatever, right? So sometimes there's an inertia, it's like you just want to like stay home, It's like, oh, now I have to put on some shoes or maybe brush my hair it's easier to just stay home. So by having these events on the calendar, I'm hoping that the women are motivated to get up and get out and go out there and meet with someone and share a conversation and connect face to face.
Are these women consistently coming on the outings so that they see the same people over and over again? Or is that what they're also looking for?
Yes, and then we have some members who are more active than others. And that's the beauty about Frendii, because you enjoy the community as much as you want to or as little as you want to. I do have members, who are more active, active participants in the events than others. And but yeah, you get to see the same faces. And when a new member joins, like tomorrow at the breakfast that we're having in Monrovia, there's a new member and she is from Glendora, so she's coming over to Monrovia and she'll be meeting the people. But that's the beauty of it, when you go to these events and you get to meet new faces and you get to know their stories.
I'm curious, like how I would organize an event around people I want to hang out with may not be what other people want to do. Like I would maybe want to go on a hike. That's possibly more strenuous than some people want to do. I may want to be out in nature more than some people want to be. So how do you navigate those things? People just don't go if they don't enjoy that activity.
Yes, but that's a very good point, Russell, because I do have a different fitness levels. Members, have different fitness levels, so we do go on walks and hikes. So I will go ahead and note on the description of the event, this is, moderate, must be able to walk at least 5 miles, or uneven ground, or this is low impact flat, So because I want them to know what to expect, if we want to make sure, we keep safety top of mind.
What are some places you go hiking?
Well, we go to Laguna. We have Crystal Cove coming up. We also go to the redwoods. Did you know that there's redwoods in Yorba Linda? There's a grove of redwoods.
I didn't know that.
And beautiful. There's about, I think, almost 300. And they're not as massive as the ones up north, but redwoods. We go there.
It's a hike?
A park? Or
it's a park. It's called Carbon Canyon, but there's an entrance to a hike. And it's not far, it's not difficult, but all of a sudden, in the middle of a residential area in Yorba Linda, when you get to the point, you are in awe at what you see in front of you. Redwoods.
Wow.
So very different areas, that we go.
My wife and I just did a online course on, connection with family, and I can't list all the different physiological things that happen when you are in nature. But being out in nature has a physiological effect on people, their state of mind and their ability to relax and seeing and enjoying things. It's amazing. So we try to organize and craft things around nature for our family and for our kids. And one of the interesting things that we've shifted to was simply observing and allowing the kids to do what they want in nature. For example, if we went to the Arboretum, as an adult, I may want to walk to all these different things, see all these different things, experience all this, where my child wants to spend an hour looking at the turtles and the fish and playing there. And I may be like, well, we want to get the most out of this experience. Let's do all this and hurry her off. And now I just observe and watch, and it's just such a different experience. Just allowing people to see what they like to do and enjoy on their own without highly organizing or crafting their experience.
Absolutely. We were at another Arboretum. There was a family, 2 little kids and the parents. And the little kid, I noticed that as he entered, there was a line of ants. And that caught his eye. And he went over there and he's like, Mom! And the mom is like, hurry up. She just got him and pulled him away. And I was thinking, oh.
Too bad.
Yeah. It's like, I appreciate what you're saying, because she, perhaps they were on a time schedule or whatnot, right? But the fact that this is what he found interesting right at the moment, right at the moment in time, and he didn't have a chance to enjoy that.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad. A lot of parenting is sort of like that, right? Like whisking them off to school and whisking them off to this event and that event, and sort of breaking their fun, their desire, their concentration and stuff. But I guess that's a whole other topic
Yes.
and show. But Martha, we're going to take a quick break. But when I return, I want to get into what else you have in store and your vision for Frendii. But let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
At WarmuthLaw, they believe that just because you speak a foreign language, come from a different culture, or simply don't know how to navigate the legal system, that should not prevent you from compensation from injury or receiving benefits. Their multicultural staff have been helping SGVers like you for over 38 years. Visit law888.com or call them at 626-784-7017 and tell them you heard about them on this podcast.
All right, we're back with Martha. Martha, before the break, we were talking about Frendii, and I was wondering what you have in mind for the future of that. But before we move on, after the break, we like to ask a question from this card game. This one's called Icebreakers. So you can choose to answer it or not. And Scott and I will maybe answer it. So this one is, are you a morning or a night person?
At this juncture in my life, I am definitely a morning person. I love to get up whatever time I wake up, 5 in the morning. My internal clock goes off at that time. And I love to brew a fresh cup of coffee and really enjoy it. That's and really take the time before the day starts.
I'm also a morning person. I think I've often been a morning person. I was in the military, so the morning started pretty early. But even now, I think my internal clock gets me up at 4:30 every day. And I enjoy the quietness of that time. I enjoy that no one is really bothering me. I can wake up as fast or as slowly as I want. And there's this sort of just calm, I feel my brain is also more active at that time. And I'm older now, so like I'm 9 o'clock, I'm feeling tired.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm definitely a morning person. Always have been. Yeah. But I found I don't distinguish now. So I may sleep for 2 hours and get up and work. And it may be midnight or it may be 2 in the morning and then go back to sleep and then get up again. And I could do that all day long, actually. In fact, I'm about ready for but it's really weird. It's almost like a 24-hour day for me, and morning can be night and night can be morning, and I don't see much difference anymore. I mean, I could just as easily be sleeping at 4 in the afternoon and start working at 6. It's just crazy. I think this happens when you get old.
No, I think this is a very worrisome thing though for you. The lack of regular sleep,
I definitely
healthy,
have
sleep.
I would say in the last 20 years, I probably have never slept more than 1 to 2 hours at one time.
Really?
Yeah. Certainly impossible to sleep 8 hours. Yeah. I'd say 1 to 2 hours every day in and day out. That's what I sleep. But I may do it 4 times a day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happens when you have to pick people up at the airport at 12:30 in the morning and you're in Palm Springs.
He's talking about me last night. He picked me up at 12:30.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to drive from Palm Springs to pick him up at 12:30.
Yeah.
So I slept like from 8 to 10, and then I left and came back and slept. And yeah.
I don't think I can do what you do, like 2 hours at a time,
I know it's not healthy, but
I was thinking
I'm
the
not
same
sure.
thing.
I'm not sure what the effects will be, but yes, it can't be healthy.
No. The body has to repair
Yes.
at night.
Yeah.
So, well, Martha, how has the community been compared to what you imagined it to be in the beginning, and where do you see it going?
That's a good question. I don't think I had any expectations because it was something new to me. I knew what I wanted it to be, but I didn't know how it was actually going to turn out. So the fact that women are responding in a very positive way. I get women from different areas who say, is there a Frendii chapter over here? Is there a Frendii chapter over there? So I have been spending time over the last year really planning and thinking about what that is going to look like. Because as I mentioned earlier, the core events that we have, it's a breakfast and a dinner. And then in between that, we have various other things. But if you live in Orange County and there's a dinner over here, chances are you're not going to make it, right? Or if you live on the west side, you're not going to make it. So in order to bring the Frendii experience to the communities, to women's own backyard, so they can really enjoy it, especially if they're looking for that community or the ability to meet new women and make friends, the vision is to create chapters. Matter of fact, I'll be going to San Diego tomorrow. I'm meeting someone over there who has expressed interest in helping to launch the chapters in San Diego. I was on the phone with someone in Reno, Nevada this week who wants to do that. And I get emails from women around the country who want a Frendii chapter or who are looking for something like Frendii. So there's a lot of planning that goes into that, but that is the vision, to be able to take Frendii nationally. But you always have to start somewhere and really learn. I mean, it's great for me to have an idea or someone to have an idea, but is it something that people really want? Is it something that it's really needed? The feedback that I'm getting from a lot of women is, that it's needed. So.
And you said there's an app?
Yes.
So what goes on the app?
You create a profile, some basic information. We want to know your interest. Do you enjoy walking? Do you enjoy museums, crafts? So that if the ability on the app is, if you're a member, you can go ahead and text another member, and you can communicate there. You can post. We have a community, and women can post. Whatever they want to share. Right. There's the calendar of events, so that if you RSVP to the breakfast, for example, you get to see who's going. And let's say that you've already made a friend, who's part of the community, and you see that she's not there, then you can send, communicate with her, say, hey, I don't see you're going, or you're not going. So, kind of keeping each other accountable to make sure that you're out there spending time connecting face to face. So we have the profile, we have the interest, and I want women to connect based on their interest, because I may be sitting across from someone who doesn't enjoy running, and I enjoy running, right? So if we know what you enjoy, and someone is looking at your profile, they know, oh, okay, she enjoys what I do. So it allows for conversation to be initiated that way.
Well, just in your description of the app, I was thinking, like, how did people do it before? How did my Boy Scouts meet every, whatever, and plan other things and get everybody there on time with all the equipment, and they only had a phone, right? Or letter mail. They had to communicate in a very different way than it is now.
Yes, but we still rely on the texting, good old texting, because the app does allow women to text each other there or to communicate with me. But, it's, there's a lot of it is behaviors, if we're not used to doing something, right? So we're still calling, texting, emailing about events.
How much percentage would you say you call versus text?
I'm 100% texting, I would say, or at least 98% texting. What about you?
Oh, yeah. But I actually would prefer to call. I just know that it's not like socially acceptable now. Like people maybe don't want that. But just all the problems and issues and time really that it takes to text, and it seems like a phone call would be so much faster and more clear.
I agree with that.
So
it looks like I had a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, maybe 20 phone calls yesterday.
Okay.
Which is probably a lot. There are some days I have 1 or 2, So that's probably what it's like for people now. I mean, I probably have 200 emails and, 100 texts. So it's probably similar to what you would see.
Yeah. Yeah, it just baffles my mind how people got organized and people at different locations before texting and phones.
Yeah.
Well, we relied on different skills then, right? I mean, a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
Well, if you were handed a paper, let's say of a calendar, and it said on this date, 3 months from now, we're going to meet and at this time, that was how you had that information, right? And now it seems like that would be laughable for someone, right? Like you had to put it in a calendar and set a reminder and text about it and all these things. But well, Martha, we're going to move on to the final segment of our show where we get to learn a little bit more about you and the things that you like in the San Gabriel Valley.
So, Martha, this is our SGV3 segment. What are 3 notable or important, noteworthy places or events that you've experienced here in the San Gabriel Valley?
Well, the Pasadena Norton Museum is one of them. I mean, it's a beautiful place. I can never get tired of visiting it, and it is so close. I mean, right?
This is the one on Orange Grove?
Yes,
Right
on
north
Colorado.
of the-
Yes,
Yeah.
hmm Yes, it's beautiful, and the Arboretum, of course, beautiful place. To be outdoors and enjoy the colors during the spring, open space. But also the community in Pasadena. I guess Pasadena, you hear Pasadena a lot, right? I love Pasadena, the restaurants right there, Colorado, Old Town Pasadena. Spent a lot of time there as well, supporting those restaurants.
Sure. Yeah, those are all very popular choices.
But I do have to say Monrovia, the Old Town Monrovia, they have a lot of restaurants, different experiences, different cuisines.
And this is where you're from, right?
Yes.
Okay. The Arboretum, are you a member there?
No.
It's huge. They have golf carts and driving around to pick up people in case they're too tired to walk back to the front.
I have a friend who's a docent there. She said, you would not believe how many people come and ask, how long do you think it's going to take me to walk the entire thing? I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the Huntington Library. How long do you think it's going to take me to walk the entire thing? And she's like, you're going to have to come back a few more days.
Yeah.
Because the Huntington Library is another beautiful place to visit.
I have a quick story about the Norton Simon. Do you know that they have guest speakers there who give lectures for free that you can attend? Have you ever gone to that? Yeah.
No.
I was invited once, and the lecture was on 15th and 16th century art in Italy. So this is not my thing.
Yeah.
So my friend invited me, and I was sort of like, that doesn't really interest me, but okay, I'm going to go. And I went, and the speaker was a professor from Cal State Long Beach, an art history professor from Cal State Long Beach. And it was in a small room, and there was like a screen, projecting. And she was speaking about a very wealthy person who traveled all through Italy, documenting it. And at that time, to document it meant you had a scribe or someone to write, and then also someone to paint. So this was a person of wealth who had, this. And if the woman wasn't as enthusiastic and passionate about this, I would have fallen asleep, but she was so passionate about it. Anyway, so she's talking about this, and they make this book, and it becomes what is sort of like the first travel book or whatever. And she's reading off the things that are in there. And it says, travel down this road during this time of year. Don't travel down this road. These are the conditions. This is the distance from this town to this town. Eat at this restaurant. Have this dish at this restaurant. Don't go to this restaurant. And I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, this is exactly the same thing that people are consuming today. 500-600 years later, it hasn't changed. They want to know the information, how to get from this place to this place, what places to go, what places to avoid, what's good to eat. It's the same thing. And I was like, wow, in that short lecture, it had changed my perspective that, people haven't really changed that much.
Yeah, it really opened your eyes, huh?
Yeah.
That is a fascinating thing to just hear about right now.
Well, to me, thinking of going to a restaurant 500 years ago, like how many were there and what kind of service and what was it like?
And I forget the name of the book, but it was copied, over and over again. It was plagiarized. But yeah, I thought this is Yelp, or this is, some sort of thing. And it really changed my perspective that people, if you just honed in on how people act and what they want, how they are, it's the same. It's always going to be the same. But so they're always going to want connection, friend groups, despite the advancements in technology and AI and social media and stuff. That I think that the need to connect and be around people is always going to be there.
It's a very basic need that we have, just like food and shelter. The need for human connection.
Is that the hierarchy of needs? I forget his name.
Maslow.
Yeah.
Maslow.
Hierarchy of needs. Is it on there? Connection?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Martha, thank you so much for coming on our show and sharing your story with us and our listeners. If people want to get in touch with you or maybe join Frendii, what's the best way to do that?
First, thank you very much for inviting me to be here, Russell. Very nice to be here with you, Scott.
Thank you.
They can go and visit our website at www.frendii, FRENDII.com, or they can email me at info@frendii.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for spending this time with us.
Thank you very much
it.
for having me.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Another episode in the books for you. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this episode, and check out frendii.com. And don't forget, you can find the full catalog of episodes on our website, mysgv.net. And until next week, we'll see you then.
Thank you for joining us on the MySGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Russell Mono and edited by Victoria Allers of Kind Monster Productions. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice mother. No, kind mother.